Josh Allen had a pretty awesome year. Coach Sean McDermott led the Bills to another playoff berth, and they are poised to make some big moves this offseason. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the Rines Report with your host, Tristan Blake Rines.
The Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia had a pretty exciting 2019 season, all things considered. One with some pretty heavy-handed defense, ranking top 10 in the league in interceptions, pass deflections, as well as yards allowed per game. And it also helps that the defense had 44 sacks in the year, ranking 12th in the league. So the defense as a whole generated a ton of production and essentially won them a lot of their games. Offensively, Josh Allen led the way with over 3,000 passing yards, a collective 29 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions on the year, and gave a lot of promise to Buffalo Bills fans as the potential of their franchise quarterback. This is also followed by a top 10 rushing attack in the NFL, averaging 128 yards per game, with guys like Devin Singletary, Frank Gore, and a slew of other running backs to boot. And head coach Sean McDermott had some big victories as well. Wins over Dallas, Tennessee, as well as Pittsburgh on the season, leading the Bills to a 10-6 record and giving them a wild card playoff berth versus the Houston Texans. And while the Texans game didn't necessarily have the result the Buffalo Bills fans wanted, trying to break a streak of losses since 1995 in the playoffs, the potential was still there to win the game until Deshaun Watson just happened. Yet with all that considered, in 2019, Bills fans should absolutely be excited for this offseason's potential. With about $70 million according to Over the Cap, the Buffalo Bills have already made a few key offseason moves, signing cornerback veteran Josh Norman to a 1-year, $6 million deal to couple him with Jordan Poyer, as well as safety Micah Hyde and cornerback Tre'Davious White, along with some other guys in the secondary. I think it's not a bad move necessarily. I might not have paid him $6 million, but a lot of it is incentivized. They also re-signed guard Quinton Spain, a key member of the offensive line last year, allowed 0 sacks as well as only 4 penalties on the year, and re-signed him just today to a 3-year, $15 million deal. But that doesn't mean that the Buffalo Bills still don't have their key free agents, starting with Jordan Phillips, 4'3" defensive tackle, coming off of a career year where he had 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 13 tackles for loss, as well as 31 combined tackles. He was an instrumental piece to a rotation that included Star Lotulelei, as well as first-round pick Ed Oliver from Houston last year, that was incredibly productive for a Bills defense that again had top 10s in a number of different categories. Another member of the defensive line, 4'3" defensive end, Shaq Lawson, former first-round pick out of Clemson, had 6.5 sacks on the year, 1 forced fumble, 13 tackles for loss on 46% of snaps played this season. So another guy the Bills have coming off of career years with an elevated level of potential, it seems. But, the matter of should we keep him or could we possibly get somebody better on the market is still a big question that needs to be answered. So the Bills obviously have positions of need with departing free agents, as well as just offensive holes that might need to be filled. Wide receiver, John Brown, Cole Beasley were a nice tandem, but they really need somebody more dynamic to help take the tops off of defenses and be the signature guy in the offense. Another position of need, running back, with the departure of Frank Gore this offseason, him hitting the market, as well as being a veteran presence in the league. You might want to get a little bit younger and, generally just as cost effective. But, again, the youth aspect is still there when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Coupling somebody behind Devin Singletary or in tandem, the way the NFL is working now with commodity backfields, it's going to be very, very important for this kind of offense that's incredibly run heavy in the first place, as well as an edge rusher with Shaq Lawson leaving, potentially Jordan Phillips leaving as well. The defensive line is going to need some more pass rush presence that is going to effectively get after the quarterback. Ranking 12th in the league, 44 sacks in the year is not too shabby at all, but imagine how much better the Bills defense could be if they had a pure, unadulterated pass rusher. So let's begin with the wide receiver position. I think one guy that could tremendously help out the Buffalo Bills, it will be a great addition to the offense, would be Amari Cooper from Dallas this past season. Had over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, and over 70 catches on the year. He can run every route in the book. He understands how to get open. And for an offense that needs somebody that doesn't necessarily need to stretch the field, like you have John Brown, or Cole Beasley has the ability to get open all the time, I think Amari Cooper could be somebody that the Buffalo Bills go out and open up the checkbook for. He's going to be worth it if your offense can get more and more explosive. You put more weapons around your young quarterback in Josh Allen, and the offense will produce. They will absolutely be getting better. Let's touch the running back position. Again, Frank Gore departing in free agency, an older veteran presence, one of the top 5 rushing leaders in NFL history, is leaving your franchise after a couple of years. But you still want to get younger at that position. You've got a nice stud in the backfield already with Devin Singletary, so coupling him with somebody that could maybe be more of a pound the rock kind of guy might be incredibly effective for an offense that, again, was top 10 in the league and averaged 128 rushing yards per game last year. The focus of the offense being the ability to run the ball. I think a perfect candidate to fill in that kind of that bulky, like push the pile kind of guy would be Jordan Howard from the Philadelphia Eagles this past season. He played 10 games, had some spotty injury issues, but 6 touchdowns, over 500 rushing yards, was okay in the passing games as well. I think Jordan Howard would be a great number 2 option behind Singletary. He has the ability to catch passes out of the backfield. And again, I don't think he's going to be overly expensive considering that he is a veteran, but he's only played 4 years in the league. I think he'd be a good addition to the Buffalo Bills offense as it sits right now. So let's talk about edge. With Shaq Lawson hitting the market, Jordan Phillips potentially also landing on the market, the Bills have a ton of cap space still to work with. I think they're going to be targeting guys that are a little bit more premier, a little bit more dynamic, a little more flashy, because they very well can. And I think one candidate that they could go out and get is the now former defensive end from the Minnesota Vikings, Everson Griffin. He's a Pro Bowl presence. He's got numerous 10-plus sack seasons under his belt, and he's coming off of a year where he had 8 sacks, 11 tackles for loss in 15 games, and they don't even need to sign Everson Griffin long-term in this scenario. They could get him for a couple years. While he is still a veteran presence, I still think he has a couple of good years left in the tank at the least. The man knows how to get after quarterbacks. You put him down, put his hand in the dirt and say, just go get to that quarterback. We're going to get more sacks this season. And, if the running back comes out your way, go make a play, be aware and all that kind of stuff. But you get a guy who has, the ultimate presence in being able to just get to the quarterback and has an initiative to go do it. I think Everson Griffin would fit in perfectly with the Buffalo Bills defense. And the Bills also have plenty of draft stock. They're picking at number 22 in the first round. They got their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 2 5th, and 3 6th round picks. So the stock that they have, they can shuffle it, they can trade, they can move, they can make moves with plenty to work with. And in their first round, I think there's a few guys that are being mocked that could very well fit into the Buffalo Bills offense or defense respectively. I've seen mock drafts that include T. Higgins, the wide receiver from Clemson, being drafted at number 22 by the Buffalo Bills. A little bit more of a big body presence. This wide receiver class is stacked with talent, and I think the number 22 spot would be a perfect pickup for the Buffalo Bills. A team that needs wide receiver help. And even if you can couple him with a guy like Amari Cooper or with the guys you already have on the roster and John Brown and Cole Beasley, I think Higgins could very well be a great number 1 or number 2 option, respective if they do go out and get one of those more dynamic wide receivers already on the market. Another guy that I've seen being mocked at number 22, Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end from Penn State. The film I have seen of him, all due respect, he looks a little more raw for my taste, so if you're picking him up, he looks like you have to develop him a little bit more. I don't know if he's quite my pick at number 22 if I'm the Buffalo Bills, but there is a pass rusher that is being mocked around 22. that the Bills could very well pick up, and I think it's going to be A.J. Epinesa, the defensive end from Iowa. He's got a lot more polish than Gross Matos, and he has the results to back up the 22 spot. I think A.J. Epinesa would be another defensive line pickup for the Bills that would work out tremendously, just like Ed Oliver last year from Houston. So in summary, Buffalo has a ton of cap space to work with this offseason. We aren't even at March 18th quite yet. Plenty of draft stock as well. Bills fans, Bills Mafia, the people in the Bills organization should be excited, jumping at the bit to go out there and spend a little bit of that money. Get a little more liberal with your spending, because this team has the potential to dethrone the Patriots in the AFC East. And I say that full well and knowing I am a Patriots fan, saying that, look, the Bills are legit. They're pretty good. The Patriots beat them twice last year, but two very good games, all things considered. The Bills are only going to get better, and as long as Josh Allen continues to perform and continues to play and get better at a higher level, I think the Bills are going to be in a very good position, especially with the uncertainty the Patriots have right now. The Bills could very well, at the start of the league year, hopefully that is happening on time with the coronavirus, being a big deal right now, a number of sports being canceled or suspended as of the moment. But if the season does begin to start on time, I'm sure Bills fans should be ecstatic about the possibilities that, the Buffalo Bills have. So Bills Mafia, Bills fans, people in the organization should be absolutely excited for this offseason. But that's all the time I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Social media is down in the description below. Feel free to stick around, watch some more content. Also, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the good stuff. And in these times right now, by the way, I don't want to not mention it. It's a huge topic of conversation. Obviously, the coronavirus being a huge deal, a lot of sports being canceled. Be as safe and proactive about, being as healthy as possible in these times. Just be careful, do what you gotta do, and we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. It'll be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Catch you in the next one. Adios.